Didn't we see EA do this when they launched Origin? They pulled all
Yeah.
their stuff off Steam, and now look,
Yeah.
EA games are back on Steam. So
It wasn't a good move. Like,
It
I
was a
think you just
mistake.
I think what you do is you just keep it everywhere.
mhm.
But then, yes, if you don't want to pay the Steam fee and people want to just go buy through the PlayStation PC store, like it's just dealer's choice, right? Like you're
Yeah,
just like, I'm
Yeah.
going to sit here and I'm going to play it here. But then if you pull from those different platforms, I don't think you get that goodwill to where someone's like, oh, okay, like because people like being in the Steam ecosystem, or I would assume there are people out there who are real epic, store, ecosystems, but
yeah.
limiting those kind of games across the different
Well,
systems, I think limits,
I think digital
everything.
libraries just kind of keep people where they are, right? I
Right.
mean, one of
Yep.
the reasons
Yeah.
I buy an Xbox every time they come out is because since the 360 and all the backwards compatibility and everything that goes with that, I can still access like most of my digital library. And
Yeah.
why would I give that up? Like those are games I may not play them often, but I certainly don't want to not be able to ever play them again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's Phil Spencer did say that, what was it, like last spring? Like we
Mhm.
lost the worst console generation to
Mhm.
lose when it came to the PS4, Xbox One, because that's when more digital libraries were created. And like
Yep.
it does keep you in there. Like I've talked to people about it. They're like, well, no, if there was some good first party games, I would buy the new system. Like,
Mm.
there are good first party games. And I'll be fair, I do think PlayStation they do a better job at first party
Absolutely.
games.
And
Yeah, that
and exclusives, because they
exclusive,
also,
yeah.
yeah, they open up that checkbook and make it happen.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I just there's gonna be a day and age where the way we game is gonna be archaic, and people are gonna game in a completely new way. And to the Helldivers 2 phenomenon, I just feel like the messaging was bad.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
What
usually what
games
it is.
don't
I blame
what
marketing usually.
what
yeah,
games don't do this? Like, doesn't Halo on Steam require a Microsoft account?
Yep.
you log
Why
in.
are nobody got mad? And that could just be that maybe Halo is just not as relevant. But what's the detriment to logging in?
I don't see it. And essentially though, I think it's just the curve of acceptance. The first thing with news, like, wait, what? And obviously this will help drive up their the PlayStation, monthly active user reports, etc. When all of a sudden it's like, hey,
Yeah,
Sure.
because the majority of people are playing Helldivers 2 on PC, I think it's just gonna be like, yep, the news, is here. Oh, it turns out like, yeah, you're linked to the PlayStation, app. Okay, I did that. I'm still playing, I'm still having fun, and going for there. And it's just going to be that, like, first is like, oh, I'm not happy. And then it's like you accept it. And then you're like, oh, it wasn't as bad
yeah.
as I thought.
I when I play a Minecraft game on my Switch, I log into my Xbox account, right? I think the challenge is, and Chili mentioned it, it didn't launch with it, and so now people are kind of surprised by it. But I also do wonder, Chris from Devour Games, he mentioned to me that PSN accounts aren't supported in every region, which does make me
Mm.
wonder, how does that impact the Steam players who are playing it in these regions, right? What's the solution there? It can't be refunds. Do they just exclude those folks too? Um, but it's a shame because Arrowhead Studios is getting a lot of heat today, and there's a part of me that, they
I'm going to
they
see
should
how that plays out. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
The Steam score has been tanking slowly. You
that's
know,
yeah,
I don't know
that's
if that means anything to anybody, but I could see people changing their reviews. I don't know if Steam allows that, but like I could
I
see
just,
people updating their
I,
thoughts on the game.
I
But
just
it
don't
just
put
seems silly.
a lot of, value in the mindset of the mob. Like
yeah,
it's like,
Mhm.
oh, and then because people are like, I'm gonna join in on this, we're all mad. And it's like eventually it's like it really will depend on how does next week feel? How does the following week feel? Do we
Mhm.
yeah.
really see a long lasting impact of this change? And right now, based off of the game, all the game has to be as fun. And I think people will check it out. We'll see what happens though. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong if you're mad. I'm just like, I
I
just
don't
don't.
think it's gonna impact player count at all.
No,
I
no.
think the loud minority of people who are on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, they're gonna be loud, and, there's questions to ask, sure, but in the end, people are gonna keep playing the game, and there's a part of me that's like, "Man, there's some ironic humor Airhead could play with," because, this is a good example of managed democracy in some sense, in terms of what the game's all about and what's happening here, right?